This module will really clear up any doubts or uncertainties when it comes to the CAGED system, and I've already glossed over a few of the details for the sake of expediency in teaching you the major and minor scales and not chords. For you to understand this fully, I think it's crucial for you to understand the 5 typical or open chords, which are called the CAGED chords. And that is the C major, the A major, the G major, the E major, and the D major. And there are the minor equivalents, of course, and we'll cover that. But these 5 chords, if you did not notice, C, A, G, E, and D spell out CAGED. And where these chords all use open strings to fulfill the pitches required to play the chord, you can use the shapes in different places on the neck and, in essence, play the same chord, but with different shapes. So what I mean by that, let's see, C major here. I have an open C here, but I can also change that, the fact that it's on open strings, and use that A major shape, but base it upon the root of C, which makes it a C major chord, with an A shape. So that's the main difference I want to teach you. When I say something is a shape, I'm referring to the shape used on an open chord, but on a different root. So we got the A here. Here are the roots, right? And you can use this root and share it, and you will have a G major, which is normally used here, but using it here. And then these roots are shared, and there you have sharing these 2 roots is in E major shape. Again, it's C major in reality. And now, to take this root, apply it here, and you'll have what is the D major shape. And lastly, you can apply it back here. So this is the major CAGED system. There's also a minor CAGED system, but I'll go through the rationale of all of this to begin with. So how am I playing the chords that I'm playing? How do I know to play them, and what's the rationale behind them? So for the example of an E shape, but we'll play it on C major, you have your root on C. I go up to the 3rd note. We'll save that for later. Up to the 5th note, and up to the root. And I'm playing in the major CAGED system, that is, the root, the 3rd, and the 5th in repetition, and however it's convenient for me. I can actually skip over certain notes as long as there is included some sort of identifier that it's a major, in this case, that major 3rd. So for the E major shape, notice I've passed over the 3rd. I don't play this note. I do play this note, and this one. And then there's the 3rd again, and I'll keep that. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 1st. So 1, 5, 1, 3, 5, 1. And every one of these chords respects that rule. It has at least 1 root and 1/3, and the 5ths are actually optional because they don't identify major from minor, so you don't need them in theory. They do add fullness to the sound, of course. So let's use the same one, the same C major chord. We'll use a different shape. So we'll use G major shape here. Here's the 1st, that 3rd that we'll keep in this case, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 1st. So with that alone, I can just play this and you'll know that it's a C major scale or chord. I can use it and play it in a different way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. If I were to just keep the 1, the 5, and the 1, it is missing that third, and it could be misconstrued as a minor. But I can do when it comes to converting the major caged to the minor caged, we have to use the relative minor we've discussed. So when you have the C major in the E shape, you'd be going down to the 7th and then the 6th. That plays well over at E minor. And remember that it's R1, R2, E2, L1, L2, R1. And you're playing a different set of notes to get your chord, and this is what distinguishes it from the major. If you were to just play the major third and the fifth and the root, you would have, again, more major chords, which is fine, but if you want to play minor, you have to do the following. You play the root, you play the flat third, and that's the distinguisher. You play the fifth. So far we've played the first, the fifth, and the first. That's not enough to tell us that it's a major or minor, so we'll move up. First, second, flat third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, first. And I've skipped over some flats, of course, and there's the flat 6 and the flat 7. But here's the first, fifth, first, flat third. And this note is really telling us that it's a minor. So the same patterns that you use for a major will be applied for the minor. So in this case, we have that E pattern. We'd call it pattern 4 because it's the fourth letter of CAGED. Instead of playing it in major, we're playing it in minor. And there's an interaction between the patterns of the major and minor. They're overlapped, but they're not superimposed. They're played at different areas. So where you would have the E major, that E shape here for major, the same one applies for minor here. So when you want to jump from one to the other, you have to know that if you want to jump from this major to its relative minor, if you want to play it in the same position or the same relative place on the fretboard, I know for a fact that there is a fifth pattern here, the D, for the minor, where there's just the fourth pattern for E here. Or just jump down here. That's where it gets a little bit complicated and it requires some practice, of course. You need to put in some time to know the difference. So here is E minor. I can use this root and the same root here, which is a pattern 5. 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3. And the shape of 1, 5, 1, flat 3, which is D minor shape. And the actual chord I'm playing is A minor. Now we'll use the roots for a C shape. And since it's a minor, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. And I have enough here to play 1, flat 3, 5, 1. So that is C minor shape. Let's keep doing this. That's the pattern of C, which is pattern 1. Here is pattern 2 for the A pattern. Now I'll play 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1, 2, flat 3. So we have enough here to do 1, 5, 1, flat 3. And to finish this, I'll play down here. play that last G pattern, which is pattern 3. But instead of playing major, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, 1. So I can play. And there's the minor. So the CAGED system for both major and minor give you an interconnected tool for jumping from one to the other and from knowing the relative. So both these CAGED systems, which is the major CAGED and the minor CAGED, give you a set of tools for connecting both these moods, major and minor, and from jumping from one to the next as you wish. And we've seen that it's very connected. All that really matters for determining it is the starting place and sort of your accent on the notes.